In the last video, I explained how to use Axiom to build terrain, and I promised to make a video to explain how I colored it. This is that part. Welcome, or if you watched my previous video, welcome back. Today, I'll start the video by explaining all the coloring tools and operation. If you already know the basics and just want to see the techniques in action, skip to this point of the video. Press the right shift to access the menu with all the tools. A very simple tool, but at the same time, very versatile. You can use this to color a large area of a single color, or, my favorite way to use this, with a small radius and changing the blocks many times, you can create shading on complex shapes, like a tree. It's not fast, because it's a very meticulous method, but it yields great results. It is not always the best option to choose, but most of the time I find it good enough. A very useful tool. You can color with a pattern of blocks, which can be useful because it makes a flat surface way more interesting. It has so many uses, and here I can't name them all, but if you will continue to watch the video until the end, you will definitely see many of them. It is a decently useful tool, but I do not like it that much. It is easy to use, but the better options are as complex, if not even simpler. I think it has too many shortcomings, and there are many better options that can get the job done faster and with better results. If you set a radius of 0, it can be used for the same shading techniques done with the painter tool. If you use a bigger radius, it is not as useful, because it doesn't only color blocks, it creates terrain. In this case, it can be used like a more limited but faster shape tool, which I explained in my last video. It does have times where it is good, but those times are not that common. Still, it is not useless. A very specific tool, but when you need it, it is good. There is an operation that does a similar thing. Changing biomes can appear useless, but in reality it can change the colors of a lot of blocks, and some biomes can even change the skybox. A very cool technique is painting the leaves of a tree with different biomes. This results in a very strange visual effect, where the colors gradually change. A very distinct looking result doesn't always work, but can make a tree look way more realistic. It works especially well on bigger projects. Another very important part are operations. To access them, you need to select an area where the operation will occur. I explained the select tools in my last video, so if you don't know how they work, don't worry. They are really easy to use, and in the case you really need a guide, go and watch my last video. This is one of the most useful, but at the same time overlooked, operations. It is really easy to use. Just select a large area of air with the box tool, then the operation will spawn a color field containing almost every block of the game. This is the best help the game can offer you for creating a color palette. I explained what that is in my last video, but if you want a shorter answer, you just need to know that it's just all the colors you will use in the builds ordered by their texture. Putting the blocks near one another can help you see if they match well, or if they are too different for your likings. What I am trying to say is that this operation is really good, so use it and don't forget it exists. One of the easier to understand, if not the absolute easiest, when you see this operation, a menu will open asking you what block you want to replace and with which block you want to replace it. The Autoshade operation can be really good, but at the same time, I suggest to never rely on it too much. It is by far the fastest way to make the illusion of shades, but sometimes it can do strange things. Unintuitively, it is worse in shading smooth things. If you want to use it, it is important to set some parameters in the right way. There is an option that can make this operation work really well. You can create a color palette of your own. That, obviously, takes way more time than letting the tool create one of its own, but the result will be way better, and it will be exactly as you intended. An interesting operation. It is pretty similar to the Biome Painter tool, but it has quite a few differences. The strangest is probably the fact that if you select the area with the Magic Select tool, it leaves small patches of the previous biome inside of the new biome. A small post-editing correction. It actually does that when you select a single layer of block, no matter the tool used. Most of the time, it is slower to use than its tool counterpart, so I don't really use it. But if you for whatever reason can't use the tool, this operation can work. This isn't really a coloring tool, it's more a general terraforming tool, but I wanted to explain it because I like it. It creates layers of snow on all surfaces where you apply it. It's obviously very situational, but if you need to cover the top of a mountain with snow, this is perfect and gives a decent result in no time. Now that I have explained all the coloring tools and operation, I will show you how I actually use them by coloring all terrain we made last time. But before starting, I want you to know that a very important part of the coloring process you need to know is using masks. Those can be really complex, so I will not talk about them in depth in this video. I will just explain the basic while coloring. I will probably explain them more in a future video, so if you don't want to miss it and you like this kind of video, then stick with the channel and subscribe. This is part of my next video, so you have not seen anything. Okay, so this over here is the terrain we made last time. Now we just need to color it. As I have explained before, we have many tools at our disposal, but for this kind of detailed terrain, this is not a simple terrain. As you can see, there are many curves and many shapes that are not really that natural, even if they are meant to be rocks in this case. So, for example, I would almost never use the painter tool, because with this you can paint with only one block. So, what can we do to color this place? Well, my favorite techniques to color these particularly complex terrains is in reality pretty simple. It looks complex, but don't trust the looks. The tool we will use is the noise painter. The only thing you really need to know is that the scale should be minimal. Then just pick some random blocks you like. So I don't know, let's make a brown gradient. something like this. Now, our tool mask will be pretty simple. Just pick your temporary block, in this case birch planks. Then we will use the angle mask. This is one of my favorite. It is pretty strange, but yeah, it's not that hard to learn. You can read over here what the mask will do. So, the blocks needs to be birch planks and have these angles, which means they are the flatter areas. So, as you can see, this only colors the flatter areas. But because we have set that our temporary block is the one colored, if you now change this parameter over here and pick some different okay, no, this is too similar to the yeah, let's pick some darker blocks. Now it will only color the slightly more slanted areas, because if we only did the angle mask, in this way at least, it would have colored even the areas we did before, and we don't want that. So if we continue to change these, I don't know, like 60, and now pick some other type of browns, as you can see, it only colors the area we didn't color before. Now let's revert all of the things we did, and I will now use that technique to color all of these. Now there are some interesting methods to shade this area. One of the lazier ones is probably the one that I will show you now. With the operation, you can access them from here or from here. You will set Autoshade, and in this way it will use the block that everything is made out of as the lightest block and shade everything else. The result is not even that bad in this case, but yeah, with other two we can do way better, and even with this operation we can do way better. Just choose a simple palette, so I don't know, something like birch planks, stripped oak, packed mud, stripped spruce, and oak wood. Now we can give it a custom palette. This is an operation that demands quite a lot from your PC. As you can see, now the results are way more clean. Obviously, the more block you put in a palette, the better it will look. And as you can see, with the option of player positions, it uses our position as the light, so the blocks facing you are the lightest one, and the one facing the opposite way, the darker one. It doesn't always work, especially with some strange shapes, or sometimes, I don't really know why, it messes up with some simple shape, like look at what the operation will do to this cube. Okay, with a custom palette is not even that bad, but as you can see, the angles really look strange. If we now make it automatic, it's really apparent that it has some problems. So this operation is not always the best to use. Another interesting way of shading that I think it's useful in more precise situations, so in smaller places, is this tool over here, the gradient painter. It's not that bad, but can be pretty difficult to use. Let's make another palette like the one we did before. Yeah, as you can see, on a large scale is pretty difficult to use. I think the best way to use this is with the linear interpolation. In this way, the color will all be distinct, but at the same time, you can see they mix a little bit. The Bezier works in a strange way. You have the first and the last color on the palette you made that will be over here, but all the other colors will be mixed at the center. So yeah, it's pretty strange. I find it rarely useful. How we can paint something this complex? There are many ways. The laziest way probably still involves the yeah, still involves the Autoshade option. But in this way I will show you another way to make it work in a better way, we could say. For starters, let's use another block, because I want my tree blue. I want this tree to be blue. So now this will be the lightest color of the entire palette. Now we'll make custom positions. In this way you can see these cubes which will represent all the light sources. You can add positions to add different light sources. As you can see, I probably put too many lights because yeah, the tree is definitely too light. I wanted it a little bit more dark, but okay. Let's remove these two positions and see. Okay, as you can see now, it's definitely way more dark. This is actually pretty cool. I didn't expect a result this decent. But as you can see, we have all these areas over here which have same colors. They are not really that good, but it really wasn't that bad. Now let's try a different way. I just copied the tree, so this is the one we made before, this is the one we are working with now. This one will use the noise painter. Let's pick what color red. Yeah, we will now do a red tree because why not? As you can see, this is pretty random, and this one is definitely a very lazy method, but it can work. This one is a project that I made some time ago. It's pretty simple, but as you can see, so I colored it in this way. And even the leaves, as you can see, are not exactly good. My next videos will be about building trees, and I can assure you that they will be way better than this one. This was one of the first projects I ever did with Axiom. I made two different versions of it, one of which I colored with the Autoshade operation and different light sources, and this one was made with the noise painter tool.